We're always told to wait for inspiration, wait for that lightning bolt of motivation before we act. Well, this is all about a totally different idea, a much more powerful one. That getting things done has almost nothing to do with how you feel. It's about the systems you build.
And really, that's the core idea right there. Think about it for a second. Motivation, it's just an emotion. It's flaky, it comes and goes. And if you try to rely on it, you're basically trying to build a house on shifting sand. Systems, on the other hand, they're the foundation. They show up and work whether you feel like it or not.
So let's just dive right in and break down this common belief. We call it the motivation trap for a good reason, because it keeps you stuck. It keeps you waiting for this perfect moment of inspiration that, let's be honest, almost never shows up.
This right here flips the script on everything we've been taught. We think we need motivation first, that it's the domino that has to fall for us to finally take action. But the reality is the complete opposite. Action is the first domino. It's that small, simple act of just starting that actually creates the momentum and, yeah, the motivation to keep on going.
So that brings us to a really big question, right? If we can't depend on this fickle feeling of motivation to get us to where we want to go, what's the alternative? What's the engine that's actually reliable enough to drive real progress?
Well, the answer is discipline. But hold on, let's reframe that word. Because discipline isn't some magical trait that you're either born with or you're not. It's a system. And that means it's something that absolutely anyone can design, build, and put into practice.
Let's completely redefine this word. Discipline isn't about gritting your teeth and forcing your way through things you hate. It's about building a structure, a set of habits and routines that makes doing the important work the default setting. It's the path of least resistance. It's something you build, one brick at a time, day after day.
This quote is absolutely crucial. See, on our best days when we're feeling great, sure, we can soar towards our goals. But what about the tired days, the stressful days? Those are the days that really count. And on those days, we don't rise to the occasion, we fall. We fall back to the level of our systems. And if you have a strong system, your baseline, your worst day, is still a place of progress.
Okay, so how do we actually build these systems? Let's get really practical. Here are 3 powerful, no-fluff systems you can start using right now to build your own engine for execution.
First up is time blocking. This is a game changer. Instead of some vague to-do list that you might get to, you decide ahead of time what's important, and then you give every single one of those tasks a specific slot on your calendar. Suddenly, it's not a suggestion, it's a commitment. You're not wasting energy deciding what to do next, you're just executing the plan you already made.
But for time blocking to actually work, you have to defeat its greatest enemy, multitasking. We have been sold this huge lie that juggling a dozen things at once makes us productive. It doesn't. It's just a recipe for shallow work, mistakes, and total burnout.
This is the chaos of multitasking, right? Your brain is just filled with noise. You're constantly switching gears, trying to load and reload different mental programs, and absolutely nothing gets your full undivided attention. It might feel busy, but it is deeply, deeply inefficient.
And here's the alternative. This is System 2, single tasking. You pick the one important thing from your time block and you give it everything you've got until it's done. A pro tip here, close all the other tabs. Put your phone in another room. Create a vacuum of focus. The result is always higher quality work, done way faster and with so much less stress. That single checkmark is 100 times more powerful than 5 half-finished tasks.
And finally, System 3 is all about engineering your environment for success. Listen, your willpower is a battery that drains throughout the day. So don't waste it fighting a constant war with distractions. You have to design a space where focus is the default. Put your phone away. Turn off the notifications. Remember, making it easier to do the hard work isn't a weakness. It's a winning strategy.
So you've got your systems in place, but how do you stick with them, not just for a week, but for the long haul? Well, this takes a really important mental shift. You have to stop obsessing over the final prize and learn to fall in love with the daily process. If you're always staring at the finish line way off in the distance, it's just going to create anxiety. The real solution is to focus on the path right at your feet, the process. The only question that you need to ask at the end of the day is, did I follow my system today? If you can just master the process, the results, they'll take care of themselves.
This is such a powerful, powerful idea. We think success is built on these huge, dramatic, heroic moments. It's not. It's built on a foundation of what looks like boring, repetitive, daily actions. It's just about showing up and doing the work.
especially when it's not glamorous. That consistency, that's the secret sauce that separates the amateurs from the pros.
Okay, let's bring this all home. If you are struggling to execute on your goals, listen carefully. The problem is not a lack of ideas, and it's not a lack of motivation. The problem is a lack of structure.
So forget about waiting for more inspiration. It's not coming. What you really need are robust systems, a commitment to daily discipline, and just plain unrelenting consistency. That's the formula, period. All those social media highlight reels, they're an illusion. The reality of real achievement is the quiet, unglamorous, boring work you do day in and day out, especially when nobody's watching.
And this is where we have to leave it, because ultimately this is all about taking ownership. No one is going to build your systems for you, and nobody can execute them for you. That responsibility is yours and yours alone. But here's the empowering truth. If you do it, if you show up daily, it works.